now. As soon as it is there, I will share it and then we will be getting started. And okay, we are officially live. I am sharing this. Let me make sure that we are on mute on my end. And then one more second, I'm going to tag everyone and then we'll go from there. Cameron, what's your Facebook name again? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Now I can. What's your Facebook name again?
It's Cammy J.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And right, I'm just typing in one more name and then we are good to go. All right, there it is. Welcome everyone. I hope you all are well. This is TJ with Natural We Community, and we are ready to get started with our community hour of power. I am very, very excited for this hour of power. We have 4 guests with us today who are just amazing, beautiful, handsome people. So we're going to get started first with a just a quick breathing exercise. It'll be a little bit shorter than we normally do, but I think it will be good for all of us to kind of center ourselves. So wherever you are sitting, just kind of get into a comfortable space, position. You can close your eyes or not, and just kind of take a deep breath out. And take a deep breath in. And take a deep breath out. And take a deep breath in. And as you continue to breathe out and breathe in, with every breath that you take out, just imagine anything that is stressful, anything that you may be worried about or concerned about, just leaving your body. And when you take a breath in, just imagine all that is good and beautiful and loving coming into yourself. And you're going to continue that pattern. And as you breathe out, just anything that is worrisome, anything that kind of made you mad or ticked you off a little bit, anything that is frustrated is just going away. And everything that makes you feel good, that makes you feel like no one can tell you anything, like you are on top of the world, is just coming in. And as you continue that, just know that you are great, that you are unstoppable, that you are powerful, that you are loved. Um, no one is capable of stopping you from your dreams, your goals, your passions, your desires. Everything that has been set for you is for you, and you are deserving of it, and it will come to pass. And whenever you're ready, feel free to open your eyes and come back to yourself. I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. And just take one more breath out. And one more big breath in. All right. So that is a brief, simple breathing mindfulness exercise that we do. This is something that you all can do on your own. Whenever you feel like you just need a moment, whenever you feel like you need a pause, I highly encourage it. It has been useful in my life. I was just telling our panelists, who I will introduce in a moment, that my days start pretty early at around 5 sometimes and don't end till 10. So having different moments of being able to breathe is just extremely helpful. So with that, welcome everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Just a couple brief announcements before we dive into our hour of power and discussion. Natural We's tutoring program is still going strong. You can check the link in our bios. We have preschool hour, which is African storytelling and Swahili with myself, with Sister TJ. We have resume writing, college essay writing. We have science. We have math, from preschool math all the way to calculus and a couple early college math. We have reading comprehension, teaching how to read in English language arts. So if you or your student needs some help, please sign up for our tutoring program. Also, this Saturday at 11 at New Providence Missionary Baptist Church, we will have our community feeding. So twice a month, Naturally Community, in partnership with New Providence, actually feeds about 200 people. So if you are someone who just wants a good meal and good community that is safe and physically distanced, but also amongst our people, the community feeding is for you. And you can always message us, Facebook us, Instagram us, however you need, email us, get in contact with us if you have any questions about that. And with that, I would like to welcome our panelists for today. Today, we have a special topic called The Art of Life, Black is Beautiful, with LG and Cameron Jones, Damon Jones, and Zori Pettis. We're so excited to have you. And to start off with, I'm just going to let you guys just quickly introduce yourselves, and then we'll get going. So I see LG on the camera now, so I'm going to go ahead and let LG introduce himself first.
Oh yeah, my name is Lawrence Lovingood. I go by LG. I am a 31-year-old husband, father. I've been doing photography, videography for about 3 years now, and I'm just excited to be a part of this panel. Thank you for the invite.
All right, and let's see, the next one I see is Zori.
Hi, I'm Zori Petris. I'm a photographer and videographer as well. I'm 19, I'm a college student. Yeah, I've been doing photography for about 6 years officially, and I'm also happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, and next we have Damon Jones.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Damon Jones. I actually, I'm a father. I'm a husband and father of three beautiful children. Owner of Purpose Video Services. I love so much what I do. I created video production, aerial drone services, and video editing for TV film, as well. So I'm just thankful to be here to be able to just commune with everybody.
And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Cameron Jones, who also goes by Cammy J.
Hey guys, it's Cam. Y'all can just call me Cam. I've been doing photography officially for about 3 years. Graduated from Jackson State, played overseas basketball, so just out here grinding and thankful to have this opportunity. So thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's always funny. I'm smiling because I know you call me professor, but I always forget when I'm doing an hour of power. But this is great. So how did you all get into photography and videography, drone shooting, things like that? And we can just kind of volleyball it.
Ladies first.
Okay, I'll start then. I started at a pretty young age, actually, just without realizing it. With disposable cameras, there's a photo of me at like 2, holding a disposable camera backwards, but I was still, you know, using it. Um, it's kind of funny because it passed down through my family because my great grandfather actually had a dark room. I never saw it because he's kind of stopped when I was a baby because he passed away when I was really young. But he had a dark room, and then my mom had an interest in it, kind of. And then my sister, seeing that's when I really was like, oh, this is pretty cool. She's a photographer and filmmaker as well. So, you know, being the younger sibling, you want to do what your older sibling does most of the time. So I started picking up her camera and learning how to shoot, officially learning settings just on my own. But before that, I remember going to camp in like 5th grade, taking my mom's little point and shoot Pentax camera. And I look at it from time to time because that's kind of where I started with it. But I took it serious when I was using my sister's camera, shooting, learning how to compose shots and learning, you know, ISO, shutter speed, aperture, and how to tell a story. So she inspired me with that, and seeing her create storyboards. So pretty much my sister.
Cam,
Hello?
there you go.
Yes. Okay. So I started pretty young as well. I think my first video was my uncle's wedding. I just recorded the whole thing. I always knew I was into it. I always used to like wake up at like 6 o'clock in the morning before my mom and just go through our pictures from when I was younger and like pictures of my family. Like I was just always into it. So when the camera phone came out, I was always catching something funny. Like it just kind of came natural. So if you guys go to my YouTube, which is my name, Cameron Jones, I have my basketball I put my highlight reels together. Like that's when I just started doing it officially. I was like, well, I'm good at it. And all my family was always like, here, fix my phone, or here, record this. You're good at this. And everybody was just like, you should just have a business. So I just started it because it just came so naturally.
That's great. LG or Damon, I don't know who wants to go next.
I'll go. I've always been interested in both photography and videography. I was really into movies, but I didn't start officially until I started working in downtown LA, and I lived in Long Beach. And I used to take the train from downtown LA to Long Beach, and seeing the views of the streets and the people, I kind of got into street photography using my iPhone. Started taking photos, and I started and videos, and I started putting them together, and I got some good feedback from it. And then I did a photo shoot for a friend of mine, and it just kind of went from that and just grew from there. And it just kind of been blowing up since then. So I kind of just fell into it just on the whim. So it's been great since.
That's great. And Damon.
All right. My story is started Purpose Videos about 3 years ago, but I've been a creative all my life. So that became evident as a kid when I was always the guy, you know, kid in the room, oil painting and things like that. But the last 22 years, I was a real estate and mortgage broker. So I stepped out 3 years ago because of creativity. People started asking me to do videos. So when I started doing videos, people started, you know, wanting me to do it for their business and so forth, because I was actually doing it for my real estate business. But 3 years ago, I finally stepped out on faith and said, you know what, I got to step out and do this gift that's always been within me and stop letting this fear stop me from pushing me in the direction that gives me that peace that I love. I love the editing aspect, something that come to find out that most people, they don't like doing that, but I find joy in that. So that's where Purpose Video Services came from. So I'm just enjoying the various aspects of, you know, business videography, music videos. I mean, just stepping out and stretching the creativity that was always in me, but I was afraid to do it because they said you have to have film school and all these things. I mean, that's fine if they want, you know, if you want to do that, it's not down anybody that does. but it was always within me. And now I have that confidence to be able to share and uplift others and be able to create those visions that people never thought was possible at an affordable and professional rate. So I'm just enjoying life right now, being able to service people.
That's good. So that's a good point in terms about fear. We oftentimes talk about those who have fear of being on camera. But for all four of you, what's it like being the ones behind camera and knowing that people are going to be looking and seeing and seeing like, oh, how did it turn out and everything? What is that for like for all four of you?
Exciting. I love the feedback. I love making someone smile by seeing, especially someone who's nervous about being in front of the camera in the first place. It's really great getting that feedback, saying when they were nervous about it, and they see how good they look and how great it actually turned out. Just getting that positive feedback and making someone feel good is always makes me feel good myself.
I love giving them tangible memories that last. Like, you know, if you always have that picture or that video, you'll always have that day. You'll never forget it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's great. I piggyback on both because when I'm filming someone, 99% of the time people are, they're nervous and they're like, I'm not good on camera. So I encourage them, I say, you know what, you got this, instead of me just be like, action. I'm like, you know what, 3, 2, 1, you got this. You got this. I said, one more thing, you got this. And then it lets their guard down. So most times they don't even realize I'm already recording. And when I get them to say their lines, most times the one that's going to stick is the one that I was recording. They didn't even realize because they were so relaxed. So that's the joy I get, is making people so much better about themselves than they already are.
Sorry, did you want to chime in?
Yes, I want to piggyback off of everybody too. Just seeing, like LG was saying in the beginning, seeing the joy on people's faces that you're bringing to them brings us joy. When I was the other day, I did a couples photo shoot and one of them wasn't comfortable being in front of the camera, and it was her first time with an official shoot. So I texted her a few of the photos and she said, wow, you make me look so good and I don't like photos of myself. And I told her, like, that made me feel good because that's one of the reasons why I do photography and why it's one of my passions, because just bringing somebody joy, sending a quick photo, even if all the other photos aren't done, they might be having a bad day and then that could just change their spirits. I know I get, if I see something, a photo, even if it's not of me, if it's one of my friends, I get excited,
Mm-hmm.
So bringing that joy, and then like Damon said, that getting that raw reaction out of people when they don't know they're being recorded, I feel like that's the best that you could do. So there's so much that I love about it, but being behind camera is awesome. Being in front is a different story.
So this is great because I've actually had the opportunity of seeing all of your work in different capacities, in whether it's fitness or putting together a video for Natural We, or I'm looking at everyone trying to remember everything, but I've seen your guys' work in different capacities. And one thing that I've noticed about each of you is that you all have a knack for getting really great footage and doing great footage. But when I'm thinking about events and different places I've seen you guys film, and you're not necessarily in the way. And I feel like that's an acquired skill. Like, how do you all do that? And for those in the Natural We chat, I see your questions. I'll ask it in a minute. But how do you guys do that?
So
Well,
I'm trying to just go ahead.
LG, you got it?
I was trying to get the question again. Are you saying, like, how do we get good footage without being like so in? What do you mean by?
So like you're seen and we know that you're at the event, but you're not like in the way.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense. Yeah. you got to disappear. I mean, a good videographer, especially for events like a wedding or a party, you're there to capture the moments, but you don't want to interrupt the festivities and the fun that's going on. So you have to know how to be kind of sneaky, and not really sneaky, but kind of disappear into the crowd and get people's authentic emotions and authentic reactions. If every time somebody's having fun and you say, hey, wait, get this photo, they're distracted, they're stopping their fun. So you have to know how to blend in and capture those moments without them even actually knowing it sometimes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think blending in really helps capture those raw, candid moments, because I've done certain events. Like I shot one of my previous high school teachers' bridal shower, and I was showing her a few of the photos, you know, at the time. And she said, oh, wow, I didn't even see you. Like, where were you? I didn't even remember that. Or when she was looking back at the photos. And I feel like that's when you get some of the best photos, is like what LG said, when you blend in and kind of mesh with the crowd, because you don't want to disturb what's going on. There are certain events, at least that I've been to personally, where they kind of treat you like a guest, even though you're still working, you know, you don't want to get sidetracked. But I think just being comfortable enough to find certain spots, nooks and crannies, to get those beautiful candid shots that we see and people upload on social media, saying like throwback to this party, or those are the lasting photos that you get, is when you're kind of in the crowd and not being seen, but everybody sees you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's exactly what I do when I'm out there. You know, I depending on what event it is, if everybody's wearing a suit or dressed up, I mean, you know, you blend in. You try, you know, if everybody's in shorts and tank tops, you don't go in a suit, of course. But the key is his personality as well. I'm not saying I got the greatest personality, but you know, I try to make people feel comfortable, even if I got a camera on my shoulder or whatever I may have. You know, I make it feel like I am one of the guests. You know, and I don't just sit there and throw a camera in their face. You know, it's just something that's very natural, and I'm like one of the guests, so they're not feeling uncomfortable. So that's pretty much what it is. You know, just like everybody said, you know, I try to become a chameleon, you know, and just blend in. You know, being prior military, you know, it's just being in the trenches. You know, people never know I'm there, you know, until afterwards, and they're like, "Wow, how did you get those shots?" I'm like, "That's what it's all about. That's what you hired me for." You know.
I'm 6'3", so I just scan the area of which I'm working, and I see like, oh, what's gonna be the best angle, and then I gotta like, you know, get where I'm gonna get those angles at, but make sure I'm not in anybody's way because I'm 6'3". So I just, you know, I just maneuver, I mingle, but I don't, you know, stay too long, or you know, I just move around, make sure, you know, I'm not interrupting nothing.
Good. You guys all have a question. The question is, what is the best criticism to give to someone who isn't comfortable with themselves when shooting? You want me to read it?
Yourself.
Do you want me to read it
Always,
again?
yeah.
Okay, it says, what is the best criticism to give to someone who isn't comfortable with themselves with shooting?
So, what criticisms for a photographer?
I will ask the participant to clarify.
Are they asking what tips would we give people who aren't so comfortable in front of a camera? That's what it kind of sounds like.
Sounds like, yeah.
So to the person who asked the question, if you can just go into the chat box and kind of restate or re-clarify, and I'll ask the participants again once you hear this. So on the Facebook Live, there's a little bit of a delay, so it might take a couple minutes for the person to rephrase the question. In the meantime, what is the most challenging aspect of your guys' work?
For me personally, it's my schedule. I have a full-time job. I work as a psychiatric technician in a mental hospital. And then I have 3 children and a wife. So my schedule is very, very busy. So I'm always doing something. So my biggest thing is finding time with my clients to schedule different events, schedule things. Sometimes I have to not say no to a few people because I just can't fit them into my schedule. Photography and videography for me is basically like my passion, something I do on the side, something I love to do for me. So it has to place second to my full-time job and also to my family. So that's kind of the most challenging thing for me.
That's my
Well,
most challenging thing as well, because I work 2 full-time job, and in order to sustain everything, you gotta make sure them bills paid first. So real life be hidden, you know.
right.
But we be doing it so we can pop off, so we don't gotta do it like that.
There you go. For me, since I handle the business video production, editing, the main thing that I'm challenged with is usually the aerial drone aspect, because the laws are changing with the FAA much because of the unprofessionalism of a lot of people out there that just buy a drone and they think it's just, something they can fly and look into somebody's backyard. So it's making it harder for people that are licensed and want to do it professionally the right way. So we have to go through all these hurdles. So, for example, we schedule a shoot. I pull up the address, I check my app to make sure that I can fly in that area. And even when I get there, it could have changed since I gotten to that location. I may not even be able to fly, but I promised the client that I could. But at the same time, that's the most challenging thing that I have right now, is because of that, because of all the changing laws.
Mm.
One of my biggest challenges, I would say, is not having my license. um, I'm 19, but my mom, she drives me to all my shoots. I'm really grateful and blessed that she does. I just feel bad because she'll wait in the car. Like earlier, she was waiting in the car a few hours. And I was like, you could go home, but just not being able to get somewhere on my own, especially right now, I can't just take an Uber because of COVID. So it might be something small, but that's a challenge I face right now.
We're grateful that you're still able to shoot though.
Yeah.
So we got clarification on the question. So yes, they mean what are tips for some that you have for someone who is not comfortable with themselves, but you all need to shoot.
I always tell them to just forget about the camera. Just especially when I shoot with couples, my biggest thing I like to do is just tell them just to interact with each other, have a conversation, tell each other some jokes, and I like to capture those candid moments between them. Try to make them, when they just feel like it's just a normal day, normal event or normal thing, they don't feel so much pressure, and it usually works. So that works for me.
Yeah, I'm about the same way in that regard. I have a conversation, before I start asking questions or whatever type of shoot it be, just to help people understand. I say, and it could be the most outgoing person, but when they see that camera lens, it's something that freezes people. So I say, you know what? Just I can tell you all day long, don't look at the camera, but I just continue to be who I am. By the grace of God, I used to be the shyest kid in the world, but now I'm that person that uplifts, encourages somebody else. Where they realize it, like I kind of alluded before, is that before they realize that I've got the shot that I need, and they're like, wow, that's it. I said, yeah, that's it. I said, it's over. I said, you did a great job, so I encourage people. And that's how you do it. You just have a conversation. That's pretty much what I do.
I'm similar to what you said, Damon, encouraging people and then having a conversation with them too, because I feel like getting to know somebody when you're shooting before you shoot helps them feel a lot comfortable in front of the camera, rather than like if you have a new client and they're not so comfortable being in front of the camera, if you just show up, say to the studio or to a location and just start shooting right away, of course that's going to be a little bit awkward and photos aren't going to be 100% the best and people are going to be shy, like Damon said, with the big lens in front of your face. I think anybody would freeze up you know, just meeting somebody new, you're shoving this camera in my face. you but yeah, words of encouragement. Even I'll show people examples also, and then kind of guide them that way. But just encouragement, I'll say like, smile. You have that pretty smile for a reason, or just something to uplift their spirits and get them ready to shoot.
I usually just try to get there early. Like she said, I'll like have a personal rapport with them, and I'll be talking to them up until the time of me doing the event. So they'll be comfortable with me already. And if they still feel a little bit nervous or anything, I'll just tell them like, remember you wanted like a certain result in mind. Just think of that result. Don't think about being nervous because the camera's right here, and just like talk to them and they act natural, and that's when you get like the best results.
That's great. I'm going to kind of shift our conversation just a little bit, but still about the photography and videography. Um, so as you all know, naturally, we especially look at ourselves as Black African people. And so in terms of being photographers and videographers, you all are also shooting footage and film and photography that, you know, one day may be like in the history books, or someone's like great great grandchild is looking at it the way we look at the pictures from the Harlem Renaissance and things like that, and going in terms of this representation. So what do you guys all feel a weight or a pressure or a honor, humble, anything like that, in terms of also knowing that you all are also shooting Black African people, even if you have other clients, you know, but what is that like? And also being a Black African photographer, videographer.
I like what Kathy Cameron said earlier when she said that when you take a photo of someone, they'll never forget that day, that moment. They'll remember what happened on that time. Well, we went to this park, or we went to this place, and we took this photo, and this kind of brings them back to what was going on in their life at that time. So I think it's very important. It definitely will be, you know, if it's just in that family, that picture will last forever, especially nowadays when everything's digital. You know, we don't have to worry about photos being destroyed now. These pictures can be pulled up years from now, and it'll always remind them of what they were doing at that time. You'll always be able to take them back and share those memories.
Yeah, I totally agree. As far as for myself, coming from the VCR and big disc days of, you know, that no longer exist, I had to transfer a lot of that stuff to DVD. But now with the onset of like HD and 4K and 8K and all these other different types of Ks, I'm humbled to be able to create the visions that people never even thought was possible. Just to have the opportunity to be able to leave a legacy in some type of way, you know, with the creation of the productions that I'm involved in, you know, in addition to creating an online course, I'm going to be teaching exactly, you know, what I've been creatively blessed to do. I say that as humbly as I know how, but I gear it towards the youth, because not a lot of people are teaching the youth how to get in this type of industry. People think you have to go to film school. Like I said, I'm not knocking film school, but people don't have film school money. So I've come to the point where it's like, I want to be able to leave that legacy that's going to help. And that's so humbling to be able to do that, capture, so that's something that's going to be around when I'm gone.
I think
Yeah.
about the same thing you said, legacy, and that's what I often think about too. What am I going to leave behind with my art? If what am I enjoying with my art? What am I not enjoying? How do I want people to perceive this and know what I was thinking or going through with this photo at the time, whether it's, you know, at a protest or self-portrait or just a couple photo shoot or a video shoot. I still want my art to have meaning, regardless of what type of photo or video it is I'm creating. So yeah, I do feel pressure sometimes, but I just think of all the positives and remember why I'm taking photos. So that helps me relax a bit and kind of take the weight off of my shoulders, because I know a lot of it is what I'm thinking. I'm causing a lot of my own stress and pressure. I'm like, don't worry about that. Nobody's thinking that but you. So it's just, like Damon said, leaving behind a great legacy, and hopefully to inspire other people too, because I've had friends that say, oh, I've been interested in photography. I've seen you do it for so long now. And what camera do you think I should buy? What lens should I buy? So just knowing that I inspired a few people, um, it feels good. But yeah, I think legacy is like a key word, and what we should all think about just in general in life. What do we want to leave behind? So that's what my view on it.
I feel completely honored. Like, you know, some pictures I take, they're like city views. Like, you know, like anybody has that different point of view when you see something that's just like, oh, this is art. You know, when you walk into the little old burger joints and you see like the cars and the Coca-Cola, like all that kind of stuff, you want to leave behind something that you know is timeless. Like photos and videos, those are timeless. If I could put this video up or have someone save this picture, one person get one smile out of it, I did my job. Like, you feel me? Like, you just keep those memories tangible. So even when that person dies and their grandkids, they still have those memories.
That's beautiful. Zori, I want to pivot back to you really quickly because you mentioned protests and uprisings, and I know that you have shot footage of those. What was that like for you being in those spaces, capturing our people, really letting their voice be heard and really speaking out for our own humanity?
I don't want to tear it because I get so emotional, because that's one of my activism is another one of my passions. I've been in different groups since high school that I still work with, to help make change and bring awareness to different areas that people don't really talk about. But I've been to many protests even before 2020, but just the power of seeing everybody come together and unite for a sole purpose, and being in the middle, taking photos. Just, you know, as photographers and filmmakers, we see things different than the average eye maybe. So capturing a moment maybe of pain or somebody yelling with their fists in the air and you seeing the veins in their neck and you could see the emotion on their face. I try to capture things like that, even protest signs on the ground. And nowadays we have masks being left on the ground, which is horrible. But there's so many things to capture at events in general, but protests, it's like everywhere. If you do a 360, there's something to look at just in general, and then let alone capturing that moment. So the one of the most recent protests I went to was Bruce's Beach, the day I met you. And I think it was meant to be. I was wearing my I Can't Breathe Black Lives Matter shirt. Just by coincidence, I had no idea that protest was going on. And that was truly a blessing to be there at that time. I was at the right place at the right time. I met a lot of incredible people. You get to network and just hear people's stories and connect and just listen to what people had to say. And you get to learn something new, because I knew about Bruce's Beach and the resort, but I didn't know fully all the full details. So that was amazing to hear, but then disappointing, because we had a beach and then we were all cleared out, and then now it's it's hard to afford a house in Manhattan Beach now. And then the plaque, I believe is wrong still, but it took them decades to put the plaque there and say, this is Bruce's beach. But just being at a protest, it opens your mind to new things. And I feel like if before you go to a protest, you need to learn why you're going. You're gonna learn there, but also being prepared is the best thing you can do. But capturing photos and film videos is timeless, like everybody was saying. You will have that forever, especially digital. You can make so many copies now and print them out, and we could pass that on to future generations. And like you were saying earlier, we live in an age where we might see it in a history book or at some point in time. But that's one of the reasons I love photography, is capturing all those different moments, and especially the candid moments.
Right.
Sorry for that little rant, but
No, it's good. It's good. This is what we're about. And I know you mentioned, being emotional, but that's always but that's also very empowering. And you all are capturing emotions, whether it's at a Bruce Beach protest. But you even captured emotions on that day, referring to the day we met. You were shooting all of us working out and getting our butts kicked in that workout. But that's an emotion. And LG, you also capture footage in terms of working out. That's actually how I met you. You got to film me pushing a car. So things of that nature, and how it's so important. Oftentimes we as people, especially Black people, are told to keep our emotions in check. We're not supposed to show our emotions, and then Black men are really not supposed to show their emotions. But here you all, the four of you, get it opportunity to capture the emotions, and we want the emotions captured when we are asking for a video shoot or a photo shoot. LG, do you want to talk about that real quick? Cam and Damon, I'm coming to you with specific questions, but just really thinking about this terms of protests and then but also fitness with LG. You want to chime in?
As far as capturing emotions, that's what our stories are. What are we feeling at this moment? What are we feeling at that particular time? When we look at a video or movie or anything, we're really looking at people's stories and how are they handling different situations, how are we feeling that. And if I'm capturing something with someone who's just being, emotionless, who wants to see that? Who wants to watch that? We want to capture people at their most vulnerable states, at their most exciting, their most joyful moments, their most sad moments. So that's really the goal. We want to capture someone's story. And even through the fitness, that was a very fun day for me because, especially working with somebody like Marcus, it was hilarious because, that was my first time. I do a lot of fitness shoots, but you don't do too many fitness shoots where, you got church music playing in the background, and you go and push a car. So I love that, how creative he was and how willing you were to do that. It was fun to see. And it's a good story there. That's what people want to see. That's why we do it.
Right. That was a fun day. For those of y'all who, yeah, those of y'all who are watching, I don't even remember how, but some way, some other, all three of us ended up singing "The Blood Still Works" while it was occurring. Pushing a car to Duke Ellington. It was just, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I was tired after, but it was fun. Cam, I'm coming to you, but real quick, Damon, I don't know if I ever told you this. So Damon and I met through Miss Benita Thomas. I was on a panel for her, and Damon was shooting. And then for those of you back in May, June, Damon actually put together a Natural Weed graduation video. So we were trying to figure out what could we do to stay connected to people in the midst of COVID. But on our hearts were especially those who were graduating and they weren't having their ceremonies. And so Natural Weed ended up putting a video together. But long story short, when we debuted the video on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and everything, we actually got an email back. And Damon, the email back said that those who watched the video felt like they were at a Black grad. They didn't feel like they were just getting a virtual graduation, but they felt like they were really at their Black grad African graduation. And that is a credit to you with your editing. And so how do you really tap into that creative process to really put together the vision? So because for me, I was like, Damon, this is what we want to do. This is how I think we can do it. But other than that, you're the camera guy. Here you go. Go from there.
Well, like I said, it started at an early age with my creativity. The creativity, I started oil painting at an early age with no lessons. Got in the military. I bought my first camera, the big giant camera like Channel 7 News. And I used to try putting two VCRs together, trying to figure out music. So the creativity has always been there. So when I got out of the military, I tried LAPD, LA Sheriff, that stuff didn't work out. But fast forward to the real estate side, I loved real estate, but it was always that something inside of me saying, you know what, why you're supposed to be doing this over here. So finally, when I had the courage to make a video from Facebook a few years ago, it began to be a slideshow video, and I love the editing aspect. And then I just started studying YouTube videos and refining the gift that was already there. But when it comes to the creative aspect, when you go back to the video that I created for you, you know, it always starts with the audio for me. So when you give me your vision, that's where the creativity starts for me. So that's when I light up, you know, because I'm like, okay, give me your vision, and I'm able to just sit down and sit right here and just put it together accordingly and kind of chop it up. But I lay the foundation, the audio is the foundation. And how I was able to learn that was back in the day growing up in Compton. I used to hang around the brothers that used to DJ. And so that's where I built my ear for audio. So when I know exactly what kind of video we're looking for, I search my audio database to find out how do I need to lay this foundation first, because the audio is going to help me build the video up on top of that. So once I have all the footage that you provided, I sit here and I kind of brainstorm. And it's not a very difficult process for me, but it's very humbling when I'm able to have all this footage in front of me. And in the end, it becomes something that people resonate with, their emotions. It elicits those emotions that they were looking for. And that's the most humblest feeling for me, when I get compliments and knowing that I hit the mark of what I was asked to do. So that's all I did. It's simple for me, because I'm now operating in a path, you know, and I got to go to scripture, Proverbs 18:16, your gift will make room for you. So once I got out of my fear, and what is fear? False evidence about reality, false evidence that appears real. I finally became the person, and I'm becoming the person that people have always perceived me to be. And I thank God for my wife, because without her, I wouldn't be the man that I am. And I'm coming back around, and that's part of my creativity. And that's why you see me light up, because now I'm finally operating and doing what I was created to do. So I thank you for sharing that message, you know, about the feedback, because that's so humbling for me, you know, and I thank you.
Thank you. And Miss Cam, who has actually worked with Naturally the longest, so I don't, you, all four of you guys mentioned having like that one picture or seeing that people or someone's face light up. So Cam, at one of the hair shows, one of the models had this jacket on, and then in the middle of the runway, he actually so let me back up. I was in the back, so I had no idea what was going on. I was in executive director TJ Robinson mode, right? And I'm like, are all the models doing the final walkthrough? I'm in, and then all of a sudden I just hear the room like erupt, and I'm like, what is going on? And no one would tell me. They're like, oh no, it was the hair show, it was the finale, everyone was hyped. And I'm like, okay, but what happened? And then I get the flash drive from you, and I see this picture of this young man who just, and it's literally the way that you shot the pictures. Like literally, I have one picture, there's a jacket on, and I clicked next, and his jacket is off. He's full blonde. I met Kai, she's black. And I was like, oh, that's the dopest picture ever. Like, I was like, is that when all of y'all erupted? And my team was like, that's when we erupted. But it was so cool because that individual person, that model, actually we had to talk him into modeling. He was like, oh no, well, maybe I can't be a model. We're like, yes you can, yes you can, yes you can. And so when we showed him that picture, the biggest, brightest smile came across. He was like, that was so cool. And he's like, he's like, I don't even know what made me do that, but I just thought it'd be really cool. And it was
Yes.
and it was great. And so Kim, we thank you for being one of our long-standing photographers and things like that. So
No
I don't know if I
doubt.
ever told you that, so I wanted to make sure I told you that, which is why.
No, that's dope.
We appreciate, because you mentioned about being 6'3" and everything, but that's one of the things that we talk about when we're in our executive meetings and talking about photography and things like that. That's one of the first things that we say is, well, who's going to capture all the good shots without being in the way? and your name is one of the very first ones that come up.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We're great, and I know our time is running short, but to all four of you, I want to say that Natural We greatly appreciates you.
Thank you.
It's really about building relationships with everyone, but it's especially important for us to work with those who really care about the community, who really want to see our people excel and in a good light. And we know that this, from meeting the four of you, that you do it because it's a passion of yours. And that's what I think is really important. You guys all have a question in the chat. Well, not a question, but an ask to please write your websites and contact info in the chat. So you all can tell me and I'll write it. But as you all are telling me, if you all can just kind of like give your pitch. And I realize we're not in competition, but really, I'm really big on that. We're not in competition, though. There's room for everyone. But make your pitch, and then as you're making your pitch with your contact info, I'll write it in our chat. So whoever wants to start, I think the men are going to say ladies first. So Zori and Cam, that's between y'all.
Our pitch, you mean like just our final?
Like if someone is going to come up to you and is like, I'm looking for a photographer, or a videographer, why should I get with you?
Like everybody up here, we all share I share a passion with, like everybody up here, for photography and filmmaking. I feel like I'm fun to shoot with. We need great music, great people to be around with. Just enjoying our time together while we're shooting. And safety is one of my top priorities on a shoot. Fun and safety and great music. So I feel like all of those combined helps us collaborate to get the best photos and videos that we can get as possible. So I'm really loving and fun to be around. I hope that came out kind of humble, but
you're good.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it short and sweet. I love having a great time on set wherever we are, whether it's at the beach or, finding a little corner on a street and making the best out of it. I love making the best out of nothing. So just collaborating with new people and getting to build relationships and knowing new people and learning about people and hearing their stories. I think that's one of the best things. That's one of the blessings that I receive for just holding a camera. I get to meet new people. Like, I'm grateful I met everybody on this panel. So hopefully we could all collaborate on something.
Definitely.
Most
So,
definitely.
yeah.
Zori, what's the best place in a website or Instagram to get in contact with you?
I'm working on my website again. So my Instagram and my email.
Okay, can you tell me your email again?
photographybyzori@gmail.com. And then my Instagram is zap_2.
1 second, let me finish typing your email. And then Instagram, you said Zap, right?
_2.
And LG, I see you already typed it into the chat, but you want to just go ahead and make your quick pitch.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, shot_by_LG. I do everything. I love photography, videography. I'm actually working on a short film right now, just about people and their stories dealing with COVID-19. And just somewhere. I mean, I'm a nice guy. I like meeting new people, like she said, and I try to make sure the work is professional and I give you good quality service. And do you want to shoot? Let's shoot.
All righty. And Miss Cam.
What up, y'all? Y'all can follow me at Studio Cam or Elevated on Instagram, and also hit my Facebook. Stay tuned because I'm getting my website back up. It went down, and I love making new memories and helping you capture ones that you don't want to forget at a different point of view. So anything you need, I publish books, I write books, I help people write their books, photography, videography, I shoot music videos. So we trying to, build our own empire.
All right. All right. And Mr. Damon Jones.
All right. So again, my name is Damon Jones, Purpose Video Services. I specialize in affordable and professional business video production, FAA licensed aerial drone services, along with TV, video, and film editing services. My service is based upon integrity, quality, service, and without compromise. So if you want to see of my work, you can visit my website at purposevideoservices.com. And also visit my upcoming online course at dronefilmedit101.com so I can keep you updated on the release of my course. All right, thank you.
Right. I think, did I get everybody? Zora, I got everybody, right?
You got me. I forgot to mention, I have a short film coming out too. LG reminded me, I totally forgot. It's about, we're focusing on Black girls and women who are homeless here in LA. So that's coming out this month, I believe.
So as all of you all are working on your short films, your books, your photography, so on and so forth, whenever you have anything new coming out, please let me know. Natural We is more than happy to feature it in our newsletter, as well as blast it out to our social media, and let people know. Who knows, we may even invite you back on the community hour of power to really focus in on what it is that you're doing, because it's important. It's important to see ourselves and see each other and build each other. This is what collaborative economics is about. This is what Ubuntu is about. This is what community is about. And even for those of you all who have known me for less than a year, once you know me, you know me.
Pretty much.
Once you got me, you got me. If you need anything, I will try and help you in any way that I can. And Natural We is here for the community. Cam's not in her head because she knows.
Yes.
What I speak is true, but really it's all love, and this is what we're about. So we thank you so much. And for those of you all who watched and chimed in, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support. We're here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. for our hour. And with that, all of you all, please have a great rest of the week, evening. Know that you are more than well. And with that, we can all sign off because I'm sure a couple of us are ready to see the end of this basketball game. We will go from there. But thank you all and have a good night.
You too.
Hey,
Thank you.
Take care.